DAZN is the home of boxing, with over 150 live fights a year.
It's over! There's no way back from this, surely!
Everything is difficult in this life, so still you need to be on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
How do you like it? How do you like it?
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
That is what sport means. That is what the EuroLeague trophy means.
Are you not entertained?
I'm not supposed to be cheering, but this is X Series. I can do whatever I want.
This has been a coming together. This has been a light bulb moment.
Two top promoters in the UK have never even met.
I know how to fight, and I'll fight to win.
The competition is back, and the UEFA Women's Champions League looks set to be bigger and better than ever before.
It's their time. A night to remember. It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Fight Week on DAZN is non-stop action. Access all areas of the biggest fights, even before the bell rings.
I hope you guys enjoy this fight as much as I will.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
The world has been waiting for. The judges are ready. The fighters are ready. The boxing world is ready. The fight starts now. Let's go.
How do you like it? So aggressive, so focused. It all comes down to this. DAZN Weekend Preview.
Welcome to the DAZN Cinco De Mayo weekend show, brought to you by Corona Premier. Times Square will take center stage for the return of Ryan Garcia, who will be facing hard-hitting Rolly Romero in a star-studded card. Also, Devin Haney facing Jose Ramirez, and these guys don't like each other. Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barbosa Jr. We're live at Bubba Gump Times Square. I go by the name of Vak.
And I'm Barack the Bubba Gump Bully.
And the wait is over. No more media workouts, no more weigh-ins, press conference. Everybody on that card has to fight today, Barack.
All the anxiety is gone, except the anxiety you have that you came with. We here at Bubba Gump, they graciously gave us this big, long space so we can overlook Broadway. We see the people lining up already. What are they online for? I don't know. Some of them have a good vantage point. Some of them probably just want to see the fighters walk in.
That's right. And I'm paranoid, so I thought that for some reason it was going to rain. That's what it was saying on my iPhone. It rain. But guess what? Mother Nature say, nope, fighting is happening tonight. Times Square is going down. The sun is shining. The weather is amazing. So everybody's going to get their chance to get their licks.
Absolutely. They say May comes in like a lion, goes out in lamb, but we got lamb weather out there. Look at those ropes. Look how good that looks out there. Look at that sun shining. It's about 70-something degrees. I've been in California. I've been to Arizona seeing the outdoor fights. You need this type of weather. This is perfect weather where it's not too cold and not too hot for the fighters.
Yeah, look, I want to get into Ryan Garcia, man. He is the man for this hour. He's a superstar. He's been a superstar, in my opinion, the biggest superstar boxing's ever seen without being a world champion, right? He has a following beyond boxing that transcends boxing. This stage is perfect for him.
I could definitely agree with that. Finally, you said something that made a little bit of sense. You're right. He came into the game with a following already, but sometimes he get a little backlash for that, which is ridiculous because every fighter wants a following. It's not his fault that he put up videos of hitting the bag and he's super fast. Look at his face. He's super pretty. He's the new Oscar De La Hoya. It's not his fault that he got a whole bunch of followers because of that, because he was an amateur standout.
Right, but that was his goal when he put that video out. Let's put this out and see if it hits. It actually hit. But the thing is, eventually you're going to have an opportunity to have to show that inside the ring. And he's done that. He's done that on a big stage. I know there's some controversy with his last win, but as far as what we saw was a guy that was better than Devin Haney. And Devin Haney at the time was coming off a big win over Prograis. So Devin is considered one of the best boxers in the world. Ryan was better than him that night.
Yeah, it's a little tainted, obviously, with the failed drug test, so we have to wipe that win away. But what we actually saw was that he came into the fight saying Ryan only has one hand. He only has that one left hook, but it still worked.
That's right.
He was still able to land it.
This big showdown in Times Square, it's not only those two guys. There's an entire fight card that we're going to see tonight. Ryan Garcia, obviously, against Rolly Romero. A lot of history between those two guys, right? Look, we know the sparring session went viral.
Oh, here we go.
And, I mean, that's the reason why those guys are fighting eventually.
No.
That's the foundation. But the entire fight card, obviously, Ryan Garcia, as I just mentioned, against Rolly Romero, and Devin Haney, who lost to Ryan Garcia, but is making his return today against hard-hitting Jose Ramirez, a guy that does not stop coming. And obviously, the most accomplished champion on this card, the takeover. Teofimo Lopez against Arnold Barbosa Jr. and amateur standout Rito Susumi versus LeVar Whittington in the Battle of the Badges. That's right. NYPD against the Fire Department. James Gennari versus Joel Allen. Barack, I want to touch on that because we grew up in this city and we know how hard this city is and what both of those departments have to deal with. So 100%. Whoever's idea was to give him center stage in Times Square, bravo.
Beautiful. When you come into the city, if you're going to shut down the most busiest area in the city, you're going to honor it in some way. You have to. And that's a perfect way of honoring it. Like I said before in other shows, just a couple of miles away was the 9/11.
I'm still picking NYPD for this one. I know you got, New York's bravest. I'm picking New York's finest.
Okay, we're picking sides. But in reality, we're giving respect to both, and we hope they get in there and they do their due. But now I'm hearing that your guy is undefeated. I'm hearing that NYPD, Allen, is undefeated.
I didn't have some secret spies letting me know who's the better fighter.
It's all good. He got to perform under the lights. We're here in Broadway, bro. I'd be nervous out there.
Yeah.
Look at these fans out here. This is ridiculous.
Both guys are going to be nervous. But let's go to the tail of the tape on this main event. It's a massive main event, even though it's not a title fight. Obviously, Ryan, 3 years younger. Also, has him in height, has him in reach. They weighed relatively the same. Barack, we touched on the sparring session. For me, it's the reason why these guys are fighting. You talked to him, and you actually touched on it as well. Let's see what he had to say about it.
You wish that you could take that sparring match off of the internet?
Nah, it's part of my story. It's part of everything, What I learned is sparring ain't because at that moment, that felt like the biggest thing for me. And I'm like, damn, people really think I'm not good. And then I go and win these fights, and then my stardom shoots up crazy. And I'm like, man, this is what happens on that night. That's when I really learned. It happened, like, we all were at kind of the same point of our careers, like, very early. But I had great performances in the ring on that night that you're supposed to have.
Under the lights.
Under the lights. And I blew up more than any of my peers. They all thought they were ahead of me, but when I entered those lights, I knocked people out. I did 30-second knockouts. They weren't doing that, so I'm like, man, it's all about that night. You guys can have the sparring. You guys can have fun with that. Mm-hmm. When I step in that ring under the lights, I'm ready to do something amazing.
Joining us now, one of the most exciting fighters in all of boxing. Very humble, but in that ring, he's a straight savage. Look, I want to talk about Ryan real quick because Barack and I were mentioning how he was a star before really proving it inside the ring, right? What was your take the first time you saw Ryan Garcia in that viral clip hitting, showing his speed before he actually proved in the ring? What was your assessment of Ryan?
Well, I've known Ryan for a long time, so I knew that he had the skills. It was just a matter of proving it to everyone else, but I didn't think that it wasn't undeserved, I guess.
Right. Have you ever sparred with Ryan at all?
Not sparred. No, I fought him twice. One time in 2009, and I think the other time was 2014.
Well, we got to know who won, right?
He won.
He won both fights?
He won both.
And this is why he probably been calling your name out. Sometimes, too, he calls your name out as well. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
And that doesn't bother you? Because we asked for a prediction the other day, and you was like, well, I know both guys or whatever. Even though he wants to fight you, you're like, nah, bro, I'm not making a prediction.
I mean, I know both guys, so it's just I don't want to offend anyone, you know.
Right.
I mean, I just keep it to myself.
Because you know how sensitive fighters are. You know, you go against them, next thing you know.
Hello, he's a fighter.
I know.
He's a fighter. Hello.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Let's take a look at that sparring session now. This, in my opinion, is what really gave Rolly his notoriety, right? He got the better of Ryan Garcia on this sparring session right here. And then he started voicing his opinion. Floyd said he should fight Ryan. And we're here today in Times Square. He's in the main event against Ryan Garcia.
And I was saying, I don't even think that this is what made him famous. I think this put him on the radar of the boxing people like ourselves. Okay, we saw this and we said, okay, we recognize this is the dog pound. This is Mayweather's gym. This is what happened. He roughed Ryan up. What really got Rolly famous was his mouth. Coming to the press conference with the minks on, with no shirt on, running his mouth, saying it's 89 degrees out there, and he's running his mouth, saying crazy things. That's what made him famous. He talked his way to here.
He's promoting himself. That's what you're supposed to do, you know?
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
You know what? I never heard about Ryan beating Virgil 2 times in amateur.
I knew that. Well, you got to do your research.
Whatever.
It's on BoxRec.
The point is, nobody goes to amateur BoxRec. The point is that
everyone does, but you.
Ryan doesn't brag about that, right? I haven't heard him.
He does brag about it.
I must have missed it.
Here you go again.
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it.
He does brag about it.
So either way, I didn't hear it, right?
Yes.
So, but it's something that fighters use often, right? They'll say, I beat him in the amateurs, I beat him in the amateurs.
Right.
Either way, this is where it counts in a professional prize fight. Let's talk about what historic event that we're at today, right? Like, I know you stepped outside, you see the ring, you see where we are with all the bright lights. Would you want to be on a stage like this eventually?
Of course. One day for sure, you know, and I hope for the day when it happens, you know?
So now that you know we got the bankroll to do anything now, we could fight anyway. You want to fight on the moon? I don't care. Pick a place that you would want to fight that's crazy.
For me, it's ever since I heard about that Alcatraz Island, that was crazy.
You want to fight in the jail cell?
And that's because of a video game. No, if I'm not mistaken, a video game kind of influenced that. Talk about it.
Yeah, so Alcatraz Island is actually a setting on a map on Black Ops Zombies. So I play that a lot.
Religiously.
I play it a lot. Yeah, I know like all the ins and outs of it. And that's actually my favorite map on Alcatraz Island.
So who's the opponent on that island if you ever get to fight on Alcatraz?
I don't know. So when is the next time it's gonna happen? Is what, next May or April or something like that? So I mean that's a little ways from now, like a whole year. But anyone, I don't care. Anyone.
Let's check out the weigh-in. Now, tell me about what you see in a fighter in the weigh-in. People always put a lot of energy into that. I can see something in his eyes. I can see something in his body language. Have you been at a weigh-in and kind of was able to tell, like, okay, I got him?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell when someone's trying too hard to be intimidating, you know, but not to intimidate me, but almost to, like, convince themselves that they're in the fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
To me, I'm just in there like, this is just part of the job. I'm not even looking at them. I'm just kind of, like, looking past them.
What do you see here?
Let's see. Well, Ryan's ready. He's always ready. I know. We all know how he is.
Could you tell when a guy is maybe struggling to make weight, seeing him at the weigh-in?
Usually you can tell by the face. Ryan does look like he struggled at all this one.
I think the extra few pounds really helped Ryan out. His body doesn't look exactly like it looked last fight, but his face looks slim and it looks smooth. It doesn't look like it's sucked in. But what do you think about Rolly?
Rolly looks nice too. Yeah, he looks ripped, man. He looks really muscular. So I don't think that there's any weight problems.
Yeah, I mean, both guys are moving up, fighting in a weight they did never fought, right?
Yeah.
Welterweight. So that's what I like about this. There's not going to be any talk about, hey, weight issues. Like, these guys make weight comfortably. They both look in shape. None of them look sucked dry.
That's right.
So now it's about proving it in the ring.
Right, and the thing is, Ryan is considerably bigger than Rolly. We can see this here. Look at the shoulders.
Yeah.
Look at the chest. Height. He's a big guy. And he said that. He said, I'm just going to really play with this kid because I'm way bigger than him. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if he's gonna play with them or not. You know, that's a bold assumption right there. But it's gonna be a good fight. I mean, now I think the question is it gonna go down like the sparring session? You know, and I mean, now there's both sides. There's two sides of the story.
But that was about 6 years ago.
Yeah, that was
more like 8 years
that
ago.
was
7.
So when Ryan fought Devin, I was like, they're just gonna go at it like they did before. And it's when you know someone like that, it kind of just it doesn't change.
Right. That's interesting because obviously you saw them fight in the amateurs. They fought, I don't know, 6 times in the amateurs.
6 times.
So you expected that.
I did.
A lot of people felt that Devin would outbox Ryan Garcia. People were saying Devin is the better boxer. Ryan makes too many defensive mistakes. You didn't think that.
It's because I thought the same thing 10 years ago. I thought Devin was going to outbox him, but I swear the first thing Devin did was like he ran straight toward him and had Ryan on the ropes. That's the first thing that he did in the fight.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, well, that was like their 5th, 6th time fighting. I'm not sure which fight I saw, but they know each other. So it's just like, all right, well, I know what you got, you know what I got. Let's just get cracking.
Real quick though, as far as Devin Haney coming off of that, here he is talking to Chris Maddox in the face-off. Devin Haney.
This card has got several big fights on it, including one with Devin and Jose Ramirez, and nobody is making any secret about what the quote plan is moving forward for a rematch to happen between Ryan and Devin sometime in the fall.
I hope he beats Devin again.
But he'd have to beat you first to get there.
No. He can still fight Ryan after me. I mean Devin after me.
Okay.
Ryan can still fight Devin after me. I don't give a That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Well, I think if you beat him, they'd probably do another fight with you guys.
Yeah, down the line, maybe another one. But like I said, that has nothing to do with me. They could I don't know, do the same they did again. They could do it 3, 4, 5 times in a row. But I'll be happy as to watch him knock out Devin 4 or 5 times in a row.
You were, in the aftermath of that fight, you were, I think, happy that it happened. What did you think, though, about what Ryan went through in the aftermath with the positive tests?
I mean, it was an insignificant amount. That weight did help a lot, though.
At the end of the day, I paid him. Bro, he had a chance to pull out of the fight at that moment. He was offered, no, actually, he wanted money. He didn't offer it. We just said we missed weight, can't make the weight. And they took the money. I mean, what can I say? You take the money, and you gotta shut the up. Don't take the money if you're going to use that as an excuse. Go on ESPN and start saying, he was overweight, he didn't do it, things right. Like, that's some weird And then assume he's even crazier. He's a weirdo. And his dad's even a bigger weirdo. Like, that's a little weirdo and big weirdo.
Well, you guys are going to have a chance, maybe, to settle it in the ring in the fall. Do you think there's any chance that
I hope you beat the out of him again, even worse than the
I think he wants me to beat Devin so bad. He wants me to beat his ass so I can fight Devin to beat his ass.
You guys are fighting anyway, so we already know what it is. You guys are going to fight no matter what anyway. That has nothing to do with me.
I mean, it's just...
Right, you could get your ass beat by me, get flatlined, whatever, take a knee like you're used to, and then go fight Devin, beat the out of him, bro, and do a boxing world a favor.
Sorry, that was Mannix bringing up the potential fight with Devin Haney, talking to Rolly and Ryan. Now,
Rolly is straight comedy.
Yeah,
straight comedy.
He keeps talking about he doesn't care if he beats Ryan, they can still fight. But the reality is, if Rolly were to upset and beat Ryan Garcia tonight in Times Square, it's likely that the rematch doesn't happen with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney.
It's definitely possible, and I mean that's a fight that I would like to see one day too. Rolly versus Devin, that's a good fight right there too. But Devin has to get past Jose Ramirez first. We're all overlooking Jose Ramirez. At least I'm not.
Don't you think, what I don't like is Rolly being a little too friendly with Ryan Garcia, saying, I hope you beat up Devin Haney in the rematch. Oh, you can fight Devin Haney even if I beat you. It's too friendly. I don't like it.
Well, you're the one talking about their sparring match made him famous. He's giving homage to the guy that he beat up in the sparring match that made him famous.
But he's about to fight the guy tonight. I mean, you're not that friendly. I mean, don't you think it's a little too, I'm rooting for you, too much?
I can see both ways, because I'm kind of both ways too. I'm not gonna lie. It's just kind of like I don't put, like, I think I said it in the past. I don't put down the fighters that I go against, because it just makes me look worse.
Yes. But not put it down. If you fighting a guy and you're facing him, you're not going to be talking about his next fight. I hope you beat the next guy you fight days before you fight.
If it was a question, maybe. No, because it's never a question. this particular thing, it's a question where they're saying, oh, they really want Devin to fight Ryan Garcia. But you probably wouldn't say that, but you're not disrespecting the fighter neither.
I don't know what to say.
Have you ever trash talked anybody?
It's really hard for me to trash talk someone because I get too personal, bro. I get like I'm not doing it for fun. People, I feel like they do it to promote. I don't do it to promote. It comes from the heart.
Yeah.
That's why I don't trash talk. That's why I don't trash talk.
Speaking of doing it to promote, it seems like Devin Haney's father, Bill Haney, has that promotional mindset, and he likes to disrupt the guys that are going up against his son, even in the media workouts, the way he was going back and forth with Ryan Garcia. How do you take that if a trainer or a father, not the fighter you're fighting, is kind of talking smack your way?
I don't know, because it's like they're not the ones fighting. And
have you ever dealt with that?
I have. I have before. And it's just like, I don't even have to worry about it because my dad will step in.
Oh, your dad
I don't got to worry about that at all. I'll take everything back.
Do you have like kind of respect for elders, so to speak? And I'm not going to attack, or talk smack to your father?
I do, yeah, for sure. Because you know what, my dad, he handles business. I don't have to worry about that aspect at all. If anything, it just bounces off me. I really don't care.
I mean, I think that was just pure disruption.
Yeah.
That Bill just did. Psychological warfare. You know what I mean? Fighters usually say, no, he ain't getting in my head. He's not getting on my nerves. I don't really care. I don't even think about it. But there's always somebody who can. And I think Bill Haney's that guy.
Yeah, he presses his buttons. So sometimes it just takes that one person to know where your button's at and press it.
Right. You're a humble guy in the ring. You're a killer. But one thing I notice about you, when you hear somebody talking negatively about you, you don't forget it. You never forget it.
I have a whole album of random people just so I don't forget who they are.
Is it on your phone?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Can we look at it right now?
You got a list of people.
Can we look at it right now?
We're not going to tell the people who it are.
We just want to look at it.
No, listen. We'll let them keep that private right now. Off there, we'll see who's on that list. But would you bring that up at some point, like maybe after you win a certain fight, and say, hey, I remember what you said, hold that?
Dude, after my fights, so I save them and I go back. I find my screenshots. I go back and I just like the comment, like the.
That's what I do. Kill him with kindness.
That's what I send the next day.
Oh,
that's
really?
what I do the next day.
No,
after
that's
my fight.
savagery, bro.
That's just what I do.
After you play the guitar or before?
That's savagery.
Probably before.
Yo, first of all, he knocked out all his opponents except one. So that's savagery that he just liked that comment that somebody just knocked out. You a savage.
Wow, that's crazy. Listen,
undercover savage.
It's a beautiful day here in New York City in Times Square. Again, I can't keep harping on the fact that this is a historic event, never been done before. Ring in the middle of Times Square, Barack.
Ridiculous. I don't know. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Every time I turn around and I see this, I'm like, no, how? The busiest place I've ever seen in my life. On a normal Friday night, you could barely walk by. Now imagine what it's looking like. This is crazy. Look at this.
I mean, some people can't see that. You have to be about 10 feet tall to see over that barrier. Or you have to pay that pay-per-view on DAZN. Let's go to the next tale of the tape. Obviously, Devin Haney, year of layoff. He took some time off. Bad loss. He's a lot younger than Ramirez. They're relatively around the same size. Obviously, weight the same. I mean, as far as the physical structure, these guys are relatively the same, but obviously Ramirez is a lot older. And Ryan, I mean, Devin has an attitude, more than a chip on the shoulder, Barack. You had a conversation with him, and you could feel that energy. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, I definitely got a chip on my shoulder. The whole world is going to be watching to see what Devin Haney shows up. And, I'm looking to go in there and perform, to rise to the occasion and show not the same Devin Haney I was before, but a better version.
Right. When you got that call, though, and they said, yeah, we want to fight in New York.
Yeah, I definitely got a chip on my shoulder. The whole world is going to be watching to see what Devin Haney shows up. And, I'm looking to go in there and perform, to rise to the occasion and show not the same Devin Haney I was before, but a better version.
Right. When you got that call, though, and they said, yeah, we want to fight in New York. No, but hold on. Times Square.
I mean, I didn't believe it. I didn't really believe that that it could be done.
Right.
But it's here. That wasn't my main focus. No matter where the ring was, no matter where it's at, it's my home. I've always been like that since a kid. So, y'all see me go to Australia, y'all see me fight here, fight in Mexico, fight here, fight there. So it didn't matter to me. At the end of the day, wherever that ring is, it's my home. So I'm gonna go in there and have fun and make easy work of Ramirez.
Speaking of Final Destination, Devin Haney's not Final Destination, but what they're looking ahead for is October and the rematch against Ryan Garcia. But how not smart is that to be able to look that far ahead? Like, how ignorant is that? Because he's fighting a live dog in Jose Ramirez, but you still have to look ahead. He wants his lick back with Ryan Garcia. Is it a mistake to look ahead, or do you have that in the back of your mind?
You have it in the back of your mind sometimes. You know, you think ahead, and I mean, there's a respectful way to do it. You know, I think we all do it.
Right. Yeah, I think overlooking is not putting in the proper work in the gym. That's overlooking.
Sure.
You could think about the future all you want, but you got to put the proper work in for that opponent. But you said earlier, people are overlooking Jose. Why do you say that?
Just I see it everywhere. I see it in the comments. I see it in the mannerisms of Devin when he talks about the fight. When he's talking to Jose in the face-offs, which I mean, you know, that's what you have confidence in yourself. That's one thing, but I feel like a lot of people are just overlooking Jose.
Look, Devin has some moments in this fight, Virgil. Talk to me about when Devin did have success in that fight. Is that something you think that he can bring to the rematch if it does happen and just tweak a few things and make it a different fight?
I think that he just... Look, he has a good game plan. Look, he has a great jab. He can box fine. I think it's just the little things that he needs to work on. Like that first look that he got caught in the first round, he had his hand up, but it was back here instead of like right here.
It went around the guard.
Things right there.
And people keep talking about questioning his chin, but if a guy gets knocked down and hurt and gets back up, isn't that showing that he has a strong chin?
Yeah,
right?
I think
because
so.
if you get knocked out and stay down, that's chinny.
I think so. Yeah, if you get knocked, chinny is like if you get tapped with a jab, and you know Ryan hits hard. And he has a hard hook,
and he got hit with a hard hook.
He got hit right on the chin, and you know what? No, he didn't even go down that first hook. He didn't even go down.
He was hurt and stayed up.
He stayed up. Yeah.
Same thing when he fought. Linares, Jorge Linares, he got hit in the 11th round at the end of the round, but still made it to his corner and didn't go down. So that's a misconception. You know, this is boxing. People get hurt. They get knocked down. The greatest of them all have been put down, right? If you get up, that's showing that you have a chin.
Yeah, and plus, he fought that fight differently than what we're used to seeing him fight. Because think about it. He fought a lesser puncher in Cambosos far away.
Yeah.
You know, both times. Long distance. He didn't do that with Ryan. A bigger guy, a bigger puncher, came in overweight, still pressed him. There was some emotions going on in there. So maybe in his mind, he's like, you know what, I'm going to tweak those mistakes. I'm going to come in and fight a better game plan, and I should be able to beat Ryan.
And Jose Ramirez is not a big puncher, right? He's a volume puncher. He puts a lot of pressure. You wouldn't call him a knockout artist. Obviously not as hard as Ryan. So maybe Devin is comfortable, and he's going to have a lot of confidence in that fight because he knows, hey, this guy is not a Ryan Garcia. I don't think he can hurt me the same. Here's the way. Now, they went back and forth, you know, going back. Well, this is I believe this is a press conference, the stare down, and they went back and forth talking smack. But Jose doesn't really talk smack, right? He's not a smack talker.
But if you push him, he will. Because Devin Haney hardly ever talks crap. He's usually a responder, but this time he's like, you better not rush in, because if you rush in, I'm going to meet you with something.
But isn't it hard to know that you're about to fight, you're about to go to war with a fighter inside in the middle of that square circle to not have that type of energy towards him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're in the ring and you know that the other guy's trying to hurt you, like you want to hurt him, then you kind of have some kind of feeling toward him for a little bit. It's only until after the fight where it's just like everything goes away. Right. But, you know, I can understand that feeling.
Was Jose one of the guys you looked up to? Because, you know, he was the 2012 Olympian champion 2 times. Was he one of the guys you looked up to?
He's my favorite fighter
really?
to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Is it just for fighting, or is maybe because he treated you too?
No, actually, no.
Outside the ring?
No. So I hadn't met him. So here's a funny story. So he's been my favorite fighter since 2012, since the Olympics. And they put me to spar with him when I first got to RGBA. And they told me, hey, you're going to spar Jose. Well, I thought they meant Josecito. And back then, back then,
Lopez.
I thought they meant him because I didn't know that I was going to spar Jose. And I didn't have LASIK. I couldn't see. So the whole time I thought it was Josecito. And then they told me,
you were sparring?
Yeah.
You're lying to me.
After they told me that it was actually Jose Ramirez, I'm like, what?
How did you do?
He was like, "This is why I got
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
Yo, he pieced you up. If you don't remember, he pieced you up a little bit. I think
what did your team say after sparring?
Well, they said, "Oh, you just sparred Jose." I'm like, Ramirez? And like, yeah. I'm like, no.
Well, first of all, brother, why are you blind fighting? Why are you fighting blind?
I'm
Why?
born that way, bro. I can't help that.
I know what it was. You know, Virgil got the best of him, and then he felt bad. That's my favorite fighter. You telling me I just beat up Jose Ramirez?
It was a good sparring. I know. I don't think anyone got. It was just working. You know, that's how we work at RGBA. We know what.
Let's talk about the scales, man. I mean, I can't ignore this, right? He didn't look in the best shape of the world in terms of ripped up as Devin Haney. Maybe because he's moving up in weight. Devin is also moving up weight. This is a catch weight at 144 pounds. But Devin looked in, tip-top shape, ripped up. Devin's about to jump on a scale. The difference in the physique is obvious.
That's genetics, bro. He doesn't have the same genetics. That's all it is. Basically, this is the ceremonial weigh-in. He already rehydrated. He's not some guy that walks around. He doesn't walk around with an 8-pack. Devin got different genetics. That's the black genes, brother. Look, don't let me take it out. Don't let me take out the abs.
Let's see your
Don't let me take out the abs.
I don't think
it's not as good as that, but I got some abs.
Yeah. So what do you say about that? I mean, do you ever look at a guy's shape?
I do, but what I've come to learn over the years is it doesn't really matter. I mean, in this case, I'm not sure, but you know, Jose was never really like a super ripped guy with veins and stuff. You know, exactly. I envy my little brother because he has veins all going through his arms and through his body. I'm just like, but he's not as strong as me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So that doesn't really necessarily equate to strength.
It doesn't necessarily. I mean, it may to some degree, but it's not a straight line.
Look at your boy Jose. Look at your boy Jose going back at him.
He's having fun. Yeah, he's having fun.
Was this out of his norm right here?
I think he just hasn't had someone to talk to him like that before.
Wow.
They're triggering it. But I mean, this is the most intense moment before you guys face off in a ring in a fight week, right that way. Because you know, this is the last time you're going to be next to this guy before the gloves are on.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that smack talking. This is my favorite part of the week, the weigh-in.
I like that he's sucking in his stomach.
Who, Ramirez?
Ramirez.
Yeah, he saw Devin's stomach. He said, wait a minute, let me suck this in and try to pull my 2-pack up there.
Can't match the abs. That doesn't matter. It's about the jabs, not the abs.
One of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time, Julio Cesar Chavez, was never ripped up. Body attack was crazy. He had a lot of knockouts, but that doesn't really matter. So, your favorite fighter? How does this fight play out against Devin Haney?
I got Jose winning. You know, I got him winning because, you know, he's
Hold on. Let me take your heart out your chest. Now, go ahead. Now, who wins? Put it back.
I always got it, man. I got Jose winning, man. That's my boy, you know. And I try to be as unbiased as I can. I just say he's my favorite fighter. But, you know, his work ethic it's not... It's just not comparable to anyone. You know, it's really not. And...
But are you putting money up on it?
I don't bet on fights.
You don't bet?
I never bet on fights.
Never?
I don't bet on any sports or nothing. You know, one time, everyone always asks me, who's going to win, this guy or this guy? And I always get it wrong. Especially heavyweights. I'm trash at picking heavyweights to win.
If you could, would you bet on your own fights, yourself?
No, because, I mean, that's just pressure, you know. That's just unnecessary pressure. I don't need to worry about that stuff.
So basically, you're telling us Devin Haney's going to win. Because you're always wrong.
What?
Yeah. You're always
he said it. You're right, bro. You're right.
I got it.
Look, but listen, before that fight, obviously the most accomplished fighter on this card, as far as straps and accomplishment, is obviously Teofimo Lopez. You know, beat the top guys in Lomachenko. Obviously Josh Taylor. This guy is arguably undisputed in 2 divisions, Teofimo Lopez, and he did it
basically
at a young age. So. Let's get into this matchup. Teofimo Lopez against Arnold Barboza. This is the tail of the tape. Look, I mean, Barboza is obviously older, about 6 years older as far as size and weight, but he's a lot longer. He's a lot longer, Barboza, as far as he has a good jab, right? So I like this matchup. When people are saying it's probably the closest matchup. Barack had a chance to chop it up with him. Take a listen.
I'll be honest, something my father always wanted to put out there. Look, and this ain't no shame in nobody, because we need everybody to look great at the same time. Terrence Bud Crawford, who is arguably #1 pound for pound on everybody's list, he did it at 35. I did it at 25 with 2 lineal world titles. And we're a decade ahead of everybody. Even your own pound for pound #1 guy in the world, we a decade ahead of them. And then, you know, and you got to think about it, but the world don't speak on it. Exactly, that is the truth. That's a fact. And this is why, like, so I'm not here to, I did it and I know that, but now it's time where I got to start making something out of this. I got to start inspiring more people out of this. And the only way is with these.
Obviously, see the odds there, you know, and go to DraftKings for the latest odds. This is the fight that it's closest, right, in odds, right? You know, the other ones are more spread apart. And is there a reason for that?
I think that the reason is that Arnold is a live dog in there for sure, and the dude can, when he doesn't want to get hit, he's not going to get hit, and he can dish out too. So Teofimo is an athletic freaking fighter.
Right,
you know, he does a lot of
nature.
he really is, and I think that Arnold can just make the fight difficult in there.
And Barack, you know, he mentioned to you that he did it 10 years before Terrence Crawford, as far as undisputed, but that's not Bud's fault. Like, he got the opportunity to win those fights younger. Bud didn't get those opportunities.
Yeah, it's always about circumstances. You know,
exactly.
No matter what, you know. Remember, there was a street. Turkey Alashek came in construction, you know, the whole street, threw the street away, but there was a street for Bud.
Right.
You know, so that kind of blackballed him away from the opportunities to beat these guys in order to become undisputed in 2 different weight classes or whatever. But he still did it. Doesn't matter.
Of course. And Virgil, you talked about him being a freak of nature in the ring, but outside the ring, he's a showman. I mean, what do you make of him coming to the weigh-in with a wrestling mask, lucha libre? I don't know the name of the gentleman he was paying homage to, but he really showed up in a mask.
I was entertained. What can I say? I was entertained. I mean, I was happy with what I saw. You know, his antics when he was in the presser. He was kind of egging on everyone, like, "Hey, you gotta do this." Hey, I mean,
while everyone was quiet,
man,
he was egging everybody on.
Yeah.
But did you know? Oh, look at your boy right there. See, there's your boy right there. He's looking sharp. He also was looking big today. That day, he was also looking big on the scale.
What do you mean big? Like not ripped up, almost like Jose Ramirez?
Just big. That's all. Yeah, of course, he doesn't have the genetics like a Teofimo Lopez, another one. You know, beautiful genetics. But did you know what Teo was representing when he came in with that mask?
Nacho Libre.
You knew that already?
No,
he just threw that out there.
No, because he said this is for my Mexican people, you know, and then he started mentioning all the Latinos. So he was doing that for a reason.
He's not a wrestling fan. He listens to Metallica.
He was doing that for a reason. He called out all the Latinos, and they was all screaming for his name.
I noticed that. I noticed that. Yeah, for sure.
That wasn't his thing, wrestling. Neither was I. And I'm Hispanic. But I will say this, though. If you're staring off, you know, with a fighter at the weigh-in, isn't it kind of hard to take him serious? Because he didn't take the mask off for the stare down, right? The whole time he stared him down with the mask. If I'm looking at this, I'm laughing more than looking serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh too.
You know what I noticed is that Barboza got some height over him. He has some height. Maybe he had sneakers and maybe he was barefoot. I don't remember, but I can tell you one thing: he has height over him, and he looks like he put on a little bit of weight when he rehydrated. I don't know. He can counterpunch, but he likes to stay in the pocket. How do you think he'll fight this fight?
Barboza?
Yes.
I think he's going to box. I think he's going to box and try to frustrate him and just try to throw off his rhythm. I think that's what he's going to do.
So what do you think about Teo's like last performances, like a Jermaine Ortiz or Sandor Martin, the guys that people complained about?
I thought that people did fine, you know? I mean, I have no complaints about him. Really, that's it.
See the size difference?
Yeah.
See the shoulders?
There's a size difference. Yeah, that's not shoes.
It's a big size difference.
And even after, you know, Barboza walked off, Teofimo stayed there and locked eyes with him and didn't want to move forward. He didn't want to be the first one to bust, to move your eyes. Is there something to that when they say the first guy that turns his eyes, he's the one that is nervous?
I don't know, because I do the same thing, but I just do it because I just don't want to lose.
Don't want to lose. Thank you.
You know, I just don't want to lose.
That's the first fight right there.
Yeah.
The stare down.
It is the first fight.
Who won this one? No, see, he respects Oscar. Barboza respects Oscar. Oscar pulled him back. He turned around. Teo said no. and Tio probably stayed there for at least another minute and a half.
Well,
while Barboza was egging on the crowd.
What is Tio feeling like, and why did he stay there for that long?
Just establishing his presence, he's here.
I think Barboza might need to get LASIK too. You know? Did you ever get the LASIK?
I did, man. That's why I can't fight here.
Why?
I can't fight here because I got LASIK.
Really? That's a rule?
Yes.
Wow.
So you can never fight in Times Square?
I would never.
You can't fight in Rikers Island?
No.
You can't fight at the top of the Empire State Building? You can't fight in Bubba Gump?
I can't.
We got to talk to the New York for free. New York State Athletic Commission, because we got to get Virgil fighting in New York.
I want to fight here so bad.
Can we unlaser the LASIK? Can we unLASIK?
Listen,
I don't think so.
We're going to put some work in with the commission, and the next time we see you in New York, we might have some good news, because I want you fighting in New York. Thank you for taking the time, sitting down with us, man. Looking forward to seeing you in the ring once you heal up. Your knuckle there, man.
Stop playing so many video games. That's what it is.
Virgil Ortiz, folks. Brian Garcia, the weather is perfect, Barack. It's going to happen against Rolly Romero. I don't think the weather is going to disrupt anything tonight. And I'm not only looking forward to the main event, the entire card. I even want to see the Battle of the Badges. I'm even excited about the Battle of the Badges, Barack. I mean, the weather guards did their thing. We were all worried about rain all week. I kept looking at my iPhone back to back to back every couple of hours. Is it going to rain? Is it going to rain? I woke out today. I look at my iPhone. No rain. The sun is shining. It's going to happen. And look who's joined us. Mr. Matchroom himself. I saw you on Instagram posting pictures inside the ring. You were in awe of the moment. This is Times Square. I don't know, people around the world watching, you don't understand that what it would take to put a ring down there. Eddie, when you were in that ring, what was going through your mind?
Just that I can't believe they've done it. I mean, we're a small part of it, but it's the vision of His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. When we was in his lounge about 4 or 5 months ago, and he said, I want to create great fight cards in iconic places. And I was like, what's wrong with Madison Square Garden? He's like, no, I just,
that
just
is
like
iconic.
a spectacle.
Hello,
yeah,
iconic.
I know. So he said, like, what about in Times Square? I said, well, what do you mean in Times Square? He said, well, let's do a show in Times Square. I said, you're just not going to, like, they won't shut down Times Square for a boxing event. Why not? I'm like, okay. And then now we're here. So
right.
It's just incredible, you know, and I'm really excited about tonight, not just for the sun to go down and to just see this incredible spectacle for boxing, but I'm excited for the fight card. And actually, when you go in there and you walk around, I start to think there's going to be a few upsets brewing, because it's just not Madison Square Garden, and it's not Barclays Centre, and it's not like walking out. This is something different for these guys. Some of them have fought behind closed doors before. Don't forget, Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko behind closed doors.
During COVID.
And it's a bit like that.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Thinking the same thing.
I just think, like, you've really got to be switched on in the moment. We all know that if you're not switched on, the moment can pass you by. Quick. Especially in a 60-40 fight or a 70-30 fight like we're seeing tonight. So can't wait to just see it all unfold. Like you, I'm pumped for the Battle of the Badges.
Right.
I'm thinking about doing this event myself. I mean, like, just from top to bottom.
Right.
I mean, it's a great story. And, of course, the 3 main fights could headline any card in any arena.
Right. So you're saying that there might be some upsets, but I don't believe you think that upset will happen with Devin Haney and Ramirez.
I mean, it all depends how Devin Haney comes in. Like, on paper, if this is the Devin Haney that, you know, even went into the Ryan, went into the Ryan Garcia fight, you know, I think the size that he looks at, I mean, he looked massive yesterday. I mean, his back was huge. And, you know, I actually think he's going to stop Jose Ramirez. Earlier on in the week, I was actually thinking that Ramirez could be a live underdog in this, which he is, you know, if Devin's not on point.
Yeah.
But I've just got a feeling Devin's going to look good tonight. I actually think that he's going to win by I actually think we're going to get 3 stoppages tonight. Wow. I really felt that Barboza might beat Teofimo, but I'm actually picking Teofimo by stoppage.
What made you switch?
I just think he's focused. He's that kind of sharp fighter, you know, with those little twitches and those feints. I think he's going to be spiteful in there tonight. I think he's going to want to make a statement. And I think he seems to be in a good place. I know, like, he's been playing up for the cameras, but I think he seems motivated.
I think he has to be careful, though, because if you think about it, all his knockdowns came against guys who didn't really punch that hard, like Barboza, all right hands, you know, and he's going forward overly aggressively. So he has to be careful. And everybody's saying, yeah, he's athletic. He's super athletic, but he has to fight the right game plan.
Do you know what was interesting yesterday? I can say it now. So, at the weigh-in, obviously it was a ceremonial weigh-in, right? So it was like, I want to say 8 or 9 hours after the actual weigh-in.
Right.
And the scales were on. Right?
Oh, really?
Which I like, because I like to see like the weights that guys have rehydrated to. So Barboza was huge.
Didn't I tell you?
Right?
Yeah, you
like 156 pounds or something like that.
Wow.
When he had his trousers on or whatever, and Tio was like 146.
Yes, I told you. I told you
I
Barboza was big.
I'm telling you, like, Barboza will have a minimum of 12 pound on Tio in the ring tonight. A minimum. Doesn't always play a part, but if you rehydrate,
to stop him.
And then when Ramirez got on the scales, he weighed him about 156, 157 pound, and then Devin Haney stepped up, and I thought, I can't wait to see this because you look massive.
Right.
And Devin Haney went to get on the scales, looked down, saw the scales were on, and turned it off. And I was like, damn.
He also had on his necklace.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, he would. I mean, that weight was what, 144?
That tells us something.
I'm telling you, he was well over 160.
I've never seen Devin look that in shape. I mean, obviously you work with Devin for years, and making 135 and even at 140 against Prograis, he's still a little dry on the face. This weight seems like it's a catch weight, 144. But those 4 pounds can make the world of difference.
It just depends. Like sometimes, like Devin never carried massive power at 135, and sometimes that's because you are depleted.
Right.
So you see these guys that hurt people in sparring because they're sparring up at 150, 160, and then they bring themselves down to 140 or 135, and they're just not the same. So you may find, and that's why I actually think Devin will win this fight by stoppage. I just think that this could be one where the corner look at the career of Jose Ramirez and say, all right, that's enough for you after 9 or 10 rounds.
Right.
If Devin might be the puncher that I think he might be at 47.
I mean, we saw what he did with
also,
Prograis.
he has been buzzed a lot. He got hurt badly in the Ryan Garcia fight. Maybe he will also hold a shot better at 144 or 145. Not a question.
He could have been 156. So here's the moment when he turned the scale off. We got some footage.
Oh, here we go.
Look at Eric Gomez, because we're all waiting to see. And Eric Gomez said, no, the WBA want to see it, which he was just joking with Devin, and Devin's like, no.
Devin's a middleweight. He's a middleweight tonight.
Look at the size of it. Yeah, but look how full he looks. I mean, I'm talking about back down at 35. I mean, he looked
I can't believe he was making 135. Such a big. I mean, obviously, he probably can go up eventually to 154. He's a big guy. So I think he's going to be strong today. Look, you mentioned earlier about the moment, and I just want to tap on Turkey Sheik one more time because of the spectacle where we are. It could have been a fight where it wasn't big names, right? Where the purses weren't so big and still put on a massive show for New York and for Times Square. How much does that play a part in amplifying the card? Because the matchups are great.
Everybody knows the fighters.
Right.
Everyone knows Ryan Garcia. His profile's huge. Devin, obviously, as well, especially through that fight. Tio. So yeah, that was really important. And you've got also the narrative of basically, if Ryan and Devin win, they're going to fight each other next.
Right.
So there's a lot in play tonight, and there's a lot of pressure on these guys. A lot of pressure on Ryan. Obviously, a deal's been done for Ryan and Devin. I'm sure they're making a lot of money.
Right.
But they have to get through tonight.
Is that a good thing? Because as a promoter, I know you wish you had a schedule for a whole year on fights, but for a fighter, thinking not only he get to get his lick back, but also there's a lot more money to make.
Yeah, and I think that His Excellency likes mapping out the future for these guys.
He does.
He's saying to Teofimo, you win against Barboza, I'm going to try and make the boots fight. Devin Haney, you win, you're going to fight Ryan Garcia. And there's like a plan. You can get a little bit of log jam with that plan, but things happen and plans derail.
It's happened to you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if something derailed tonight.
But I like that he doesn't try to hide the plan. He doesn't keep it a secret. I like that. When I look outside here and I see this ring, it kind of reminds me of you putting on fights in your backyard, even though there's a bunch of people around.
I've got a nice backyard. It's not quite Times Square, but it's the same kind of environment.
That's what I mean.
It's different, like I said earlier. It's not easy for the fighters out there. It's going to be quite humid out there tonight. You're walking out, it's like you're looking up, you've got your picture on the billboards and the backdrops of Times Square. Like, it's interesting. It's interesting to see how they're going to handle it.
But then again, you're closed in at the same time.
You are, and I think a lot of these guys will just be switched on regardless. Like a fight's a fight, etc., etc. But I do think
it's pressure.
And you're walking from like some hotel changing room down the block to the ring. Like,
is that what it?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't wait to see. No, you got to take a cab. You got to take an Uber to the ring.
That would be cool. Here's a guy that you have a relationship with, you work with, and I'm pretty sure you guys might have gotten into some arguments at times. Bill Haney. He wants to constantly get in these fighters' head. What do you make of him going back and forth with Ryan Garcia at the media workout?
Good. I mean, look, it's building the fight. I mean, you know, I think sometimes they're playing up a little bit, but they don't particularly like each other. There's been a lot said, and that's going to be a big part of the build-up. That's what we want. The press conference was hilarious the other day. You know, everybody's going left, right, and centre, and that build-up will be great. If they get through tonight.
But did you think Oscar was serious when he got up and he slowly unbuttoned that button?
First of all, I was like, what? And then I looked over and he went...
Yeah,
that's what you I was like, no, he's not being for real.
I mean, if he was...
Maybe he had some dust on his knuckles, you know?
If he got his hands on Bill, we would have known it would have been serious. But the fact that... I think he might have called somebody, hold me back.
So, no, he waited. He waited for Wade to get up.
Were you in the middle?
Yeah, but you can't get anywhere near anyone because the security's going to jump on you. So you could be really brave in that situation. So I was even going to go, yeah, let's go. Where's security? My luck, no one will hold me back.
Exactly.
Oh, no, man. I think Bill is a psychological warfare type of guy. I mean, he kept bringing up that you're out of shape. So insinuating that when he fought Devin the first time, he was ripped up, and it was for a reason.
Really, was it? I mean, he wasn't really ripped up in the first fight.
Not so much.
But he was heavy. I mean, he missed weight by 3 pounds or something like that. So, yeah.
Even though you're not working with Devin for this one officially, right? I mean, you have to have a place in your heart for this guy and to root for him.
I really built Devin Haney. You know, Bill did it pre-me, but with us, he was the first time where he was going to big arenas, headlining on his own. He done great. You know, we get on really well with Devin and Bill, and I'm pleased for them. You know, and that to make a decision to fight for that undisputed championship without us because we kind of got blocked off. And I told him, and he, of course, it didn't matter whether I told him or not. He was going to do it. You have to do it in that situation. So, you know, he's done well, made a lot of money, and I mean, I'm really interested to see how he looks tonight.
You believed in him, but you mentioned before you get out of here, upset. Which is the one that might be an upset?
I would have said Tio against Barboza, if I'm honest. I just don't see it now, and I definitely don't see the upset in Ryan against Rolly.
No upsets tonight. No upsets.
I know we will get one upset tonight.
All right. He just don't know which one yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought if I just say everyone's going to win, plus we'll get some upsets, plus everyone's going to win by stoppage, plus there might be a few points decisions, I can pull something out of this interview where I said I told you so.
I knew it.
Well, Eddie, we got to get you over ringside, man. It's about to go down.
Thank you very much
for joining us, Mr. Eddie Hearn, folks.
Cheers, guys.
Listen, Barack. Listen, I think that the fans, they're starting to realize that, listen, I can't really watch it from the road here from because of these high gates. People are going to start going home and purchasing this pay-per-view. Like it's because just the spectacle alone is kind of attracting people and wanting to watch the fight.
Well, that's why the smart people got reservations in hotels, maybe like on the 12th floor, facing Broadway, so they can see this. And plus, it's going to be on all of these screens. It's going to be on some of these screens. They'll be fine. Everybody will be fine. You'll see people standing outside watching.
I'm ready for it, man. DAZN is not the only global leader in boxing, though, right? It's also an official global broadcaster for the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, which will feature 32 of the world's top football clubs. Teams from Europe, Asia, the Americas, Africa, and Oceania will compete for the coveted Club World Champion title.
Greatness comes to DAZN this summer. The world's best players will be summoned together to decide the greatest club on earth.
Vinicius, great chance to score.
Goats will battle Wonder Kids. Fire will meet ice. From Boca to Bayern, PSG to Palmeiras, 32 clubs from across the globe will compete to be crowned world champion. And this summer, Haaland won't be watching from home, but you can on DAZN. In every country in the world. FIFA Club World Cup. Watch on DAZN from the 14th of June.
Looking forward to that, all right? But let's be honest, fight fans are in for a real treat this weekend. 2 huge fights. Obviously, we're here in this historic venue of Times Square. But then tomorrow, Canelo Alvarez will be facing IBF champion William Scull, and he's trying to become undisputed in the super middleweight division 2 times. And both of these events will be on the DAZN pay-per-view. Our guys over in Riyadh, they're going to talk about this one tonight. Guys?
Hey everybody, it's the three amigos here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Cinco De Mayo weekend. We're excited about Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull, but we got to talk about that New York card in Times Square. So many great storylines, so many great tantalizing matchups. You guys are here to break it down, and let's start with the one that may have the most juice. Arnold Barboza Jr. versus Teofimo Lopez. Lopez is dismissing this guy, but no one has ever been able to beat Barboza Jr. What happens?
I think on paper, that's going to be the 50-50 fight. I think that's going to be the fight that's really going to surprise people. And if there is going to be an upset, that's going to be it. I like Barboza in this fight. I like the footwork, the in and out style that gives issues to Teofimo Lopez. I like the jab. I like the momentum that Barboza has been having, traveling the world, beating the guys on their own home turf. That really gives a confidence to a fighter that hasn't really been on the top stage like Teofimo. Teofimo brings a lot, the power, the athleticism, the resume, but he doesn't bring the mindset. You don't know if you get the hot or cold Teofimo. I'm going to go with the red-hot Arnold Barboza right now.
I think it is going to be the most competitive fight of the night. And look, Arnold Barboza fights a style that gives someone like Teofimo Lopez trouble. You look at his most recent problematic fights. Sandor Martin, a razor-close decision. Jermaine Ortiz, highly competitive fight. If you're someone like Lomachenko or Josh Taylor and come right at Teofimo, he tends to have success. If you move, tends to be problematic. And Arnold Barboza, I think, is going to move in this fight. I do just think, though, Sergio, that the skill level of Teofimo is just a little bit higher. I think he wins a close decision.
All right, how about Devin Haney returning for the first time since that crazy, wild fight he had against Ryan Garcia, taking on Jose Ramirez, who has basically said, this is the last chance saloon for me, going up in weight, Sergio. It's basically, does Devin Haney still have what he had before Ryan Garcia, and can Ramirez still be what he once was?
Look, he looks the part. He looks amazing, in incredible shape. Physique-wise, I think Devin Haney filled out perfectly at welterweight, but it's going to be the mind as well. How is he going to react once he does get hit? And he's going in there against a fighter, a former unified champion, a U.S. Olympian, a guy that knows how to fight. Hasn't looked good, but when he's prepared and he knows this is his last chance, and Ramirez, I think this is going to be another great fight. All of them are great fights. I think this is going to be another tricky fight, but I like Haney. I like his jab. I like what he has to prove. He's the bad guy. He's already he knows that he's a bad guy. He's
embracing it,
too. He's the heel here. He's embracing the heel role. So I think that's going to work good for him as well. And Ryan Garcia and all the Ryan Garcia fans are going to be watching Haney. I think Haney shines.
I just think too many people are focused on what Devin Haney has left. Not enough people are wondering what Jose Ramirez has left. I mean, Jose Ramirez has not looked good in his last few fights. He's been plagued by inactivity. He got touched up a lot by Rancis Barthelemy. His last fight was a bad performance against Arnold Barboza Jr. I just wonder, after more than a decade in boxing, if Jose Ramirez can still pull the trigger. I'm of the belief that the time off will benefit Devin Haney. The move up in weight will benefit Devin Haney. I like Devin by clean decision.
Okay, so now let's talk about that main event, and it is the return of Ryan Garcia. He's back off that suspension. He'll be taking on Rolly Romero. Romero's been rather quiet compared to how he has been in the past. We've seen him knocked out twice. A lot of people think this is just going to be a formality for Ryan Garcia, but you think it might be a little bit closer than people believe?
I think it's going to be explosive. I don't know. I think they both get hit, and I think at this point of their career, I think Ryan Garcia takes the punch a little bit better.
And Garcia looks huge, by the way.
He looks huge. He looks great, and I think he's gonna shut a lot of people up in this fight, because I think they both have leaky defense, but Romero is a wide swinging hook, and I think the perfect left hook, the short left hook that Ryan Garcia has, is going to be the difference. Technique is going to fail his opponent. I think Romero is going to get knocked out early.
Yeah, look, you got to be careful with Rolly, right? He can crack. I mean, Gervonta Davis, who has fought both of them, said that Rolly hits harder than Ryan Garcia. So if Rolly catches you, it's going to cause some problems. But I also think Rolly has a much more suspect chin. He was rocked by Ishmael Barroso. He was knocked out by Gervonta Davis. He was knocked out by Isaac Cruz. So he has been touched up a lot in some of his recent fights. And he's the kind of guy that fights a little bit reckless, keeps his chin in the air. And I think that is the recipe to get caught by one of those classic Ryan Garcia left hooks. If Ryan was going to come in and fight the same way we saw him fight against Devin, which was charge at him, be aggressive, kind of be a bull in the china shop, I'd be a little more leery about picking Ryan in this fight, but I think you're going to see the more disciplined, calculated, timing type of fighter this time around. I think Ryan catches him in the first half of the fight. Ryan Garcia knockout.
We'll be staying up all night long to watch this one here from Riyadh as we count down the hours to Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull live on DAZN from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
All right, now it's time for the Fight Night updates presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We all know that Mr. Barack is fickle when it comes to predictions. Sometimes. He doesn't like make predictions. I make predictions, but even better than me, we have some credible gentlemen making some fight predictions. Take a look.
That's a 50-50 fight.
You think that's a 50-50 fight?
Yes.
Really?
Only because Rolly is awkward. And he can catch Ryan pulling back or doing like, that's a 50-50 fight for me.
I hope also Rolly Romero will knock out Ryan Garcia. I hope so. I don't know if it happens because I don't like the people who take PADs in the sport.
Ryan Garcia will get the job done inside the distance. Rolly can punch, he's powerful. He lets big shots go, but I strongly fancy Garcia to get the job done.
I got Ryan.
Yeah, you gave it some thought, though.
Yeah, because of their spar. I was thinking about their spar session, but I think Rolly, he kind of lost his confidence. Like he lost his, his steam. I think Ryan, he's back focused, and I think he looked ready to me. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Ryan.
Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez.
I'm gonna go with Haney. Better boxer. That's a good fight. That's actually like a good and dangerous fight to like take on your first fight back. So you gotta respect that for Devin Haney.
It is really intriguing, this one, but I just think Haney is going to use his superior, I would say certainly speed and know-how to navigate himself to a points win.
I think Devin Haney's too good. I think he'll utilise his jab, his skills. I think he'll glide his way to quite a wide points victory.
Haney boxing circles, being smart and just following the game plan.
All good?
Yes, sir.
Ready?
Yes.
Teofimo Lopez and Arnold Barboza Jr.
Tia, I've been seeing the little clips of Tio sparring and things like that. He been looking sharp, so yeah, I like Tio on that one.
I think Teofimo's going to find something. Barboza's never an easy night for anybody, but I fancy Teofimo wide points.
Oh, that's a goodie. I think that's a back and forth fight. It's a fight that's a pick a fight, and like I said, it don't matter who wins. I want any one of them guys next to show the boxing world that what level I'm on. Because we do know Teofimo is a shaky guy. They got him up on the odds. The boxing world expect him to win, but don't count Barboza out. And it don't matter. Barboza's saying I'm average, so if he wins, let's unify. And I'll show him how average I am.
Look, I trust those guys' predictions, Barack.
No, some of that is a little tainted by emotions. Like Hitchens is like, nah. But they're probably right. I mean, like Darren Barker say, I fancy Ryan. Yeah, you fancy Ryan. He's been in the bigger stage. He's had the better wins, and he's faster, bigger, stronger. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everybody on this card, particularly the three fights, all of these guys are real professionals, right? I don't think the moment is going to get to them. Obviously Barboza has gone to other people's hometowns and won some big fights. Teofimo has fought on some big stage. Obviously Ryan and Devin. I think that Ramirez is probably the one guy that hasn't really fought on a massive stage. Yes, in the amateurs, being an Olympian and all, but as far as in the professional rankings, great fighter, but I think he's the only one that may be at a disadvantage when it comes to the stage that we're on tonight here in Times Square.
Not headlining, but on the undercard possibly, but I don't think it matters. You see what kind of guy he is. You see that relentless in his eyes. And it's really about, when it comes to Barboza, it's the wins he has. He has real, credible wins. But like I said, just getting by, just beating them, not totally dominating, but he has great wins, so he's coming in with so much momentum.
Look, obviously, Ryan is a heavy favorite here. The main event, odds, Barack, presented by DraftKings. I mean, in order to win $100, you have to bet 900 on Ryan Garcia, and obviously Rolly's plus 550. So, wow. I mean, is this fair? Are those fair odds for this fight?
Yeah, because Ryan is a step above. That's it. But then again, Rolly has superpower. I don't know if it's going to translate at 147, but he got superpower and he might catch him.
Look, I've been saying it all week, and I'll say it again before we get out of here. I feel that all of the favorites will win and will win big tonight, and that's no disrespect to the guys that are underdogs in its fights. I think they'll have their moments in the fight, but the top guys will win big.
You don't want to go safe like Eddie Hearn and just say everything?
No. Look, the weather's beautiful. The people are piling into here up to Bubblegum Shrimp. They're ready to watch this fight. Everybody's outside at home, ready to hit that pay-per-view button. Keep it locked on DAZN pay-per-view. From Ak and Barack, peace and love. Stay safe. Enjoy the fights.
Enjoy your rest, Ryan. You're gonna need it.
Enough talk. Get to the fight already. Hey, Haney, come on.
More like the Lion King.
The dream? More like...
You're a cheater. You ain't gonna do shit. See the juice combo?
Juice?
You're a cheater. You're a liar.
Ryan. Grab your crying after.
No more Austrian.
Chill, boys.
Seriously?
Pizza delivery! Not before us.
Bye.